India is one of the leading economies of the world that shows the highest rates of economic growth. And this is not something that comes out of the blue. This is a result of hard work that the government has been doing under the leadership of the Prime Minister Modi.
The US are trying to put pressure on India in some matters, for example, when it comes to cooperation with Russia on some tracks, but everyone has understood that putting pressure on Narendra Modi, that has the largest population in the world, is detrimental for international relations and for bilateral relations.
Mr. President, as you're preparing to travel to India for the BRICS summit in September, and the global community is watching the evolving dynamics between Moscow and New Delhi very closely, while the special and privileged strategic partnership remains the cornerstone for both nations, some observers say that India's alignment with Washington creates structural frictions with Russia. From your perspective, how will you serve to inject fresh momentum into bilateral relationship? What steps can be taken to ensure that Russia-India ties remain resilient against external geopolitical pressures? And how would you describe the India-Russia relations in this redrawn geopolitical landscape? In your words, please. Thank you.
You gave the description yourself, and it is true, we enjoy a special privileged strategic partnership. That is how I characterize this relationship. It did not occur yesterday or 1 or 5 years ago. This is something we've been working upon for decades. Back in 1947, when the Soviet Union established diplomatic relations with the Indian Republic, we have been doing everything to support the establishment of a new state, a new independent state. And I'm glad to say that thanks to the hard work and the talent of the Indian people, India has made great and important achievements in its development. We all know very well, all those gathered here must know that India is one of the leading economies of the world that shows the highest rates of economic growth. And this is not something that comes out of the blue. This is a result of hard work that the government has been doing under the leadership of the Prime Minister Modi.
Because these rates of development have been demonstrated by India, while plans and strategies are implemented, formulated by Modi as the head of the government of the Republic of India. We are engaged in a lot of joint efforts, and we hope that in upcoming years we will reach $100 billion in mutual trade. Now it's about $58 billion or $60 billion, but we have all the foundations to work more actively and to reach more ambitious goals. And we are not only talking about our plans in energy, including nuclear energy. Kulam NPP is now being constructed, and new platforms will emerge in terms of hydrocarbons. We will be continuing working together. We have one of the largest investment projects into the Indian economy in your country, and we will be doing mutual investments. Everyone knows that India is very active in the pharmaceutical industry, and our economic operators are ready to propose a lot of interesting projects. I'm not going to enumerate all of the initiatives, but we have already outlined long perspective plans that are of interest for both India and Russia. Your question seemed a bit strange to me. You said that the cooperation between India and the US creates difficulties in the relations between Russia and India. I don't think that this is the case. Distinguished colleague, why would you think that? We're glad that India is developing its relations with all the countries. It's a great country, 1.5 billion people, a large economy, the largest democracy As many people say, of course, it is only natural that it develops its economy in accordance with its interest, with those countries that it deems necessary. Another thing is that the US are trying to put pressure on India in some matters, for example, when it comes to cooperation with Russia on some tracks, but everyone has understood that putting pressure on Narendra Modi, that has the largest population in the world, is detrimental for international relations and for bilateral relations. It doesn't matter where this pressure comes from. We don't see any negative consequences. I think that we can come to an agreement with all the participants of this process. And as of today, there, I would say, are no serious repercussions emanating from this state of affairs. We're developing our ties with India and we'll continue doing that, and we deem India to be a very reliable partner.